I normally follow up with the EMF detector to kind of go through a better explanation, but you've got it. So I'm going to show Miss Shelley how to use her device a little bit further.
Look!
So everybody
Look!
else,
Look!
let's
Look! Look! Look!
keep in mind, it's a depth perception camera, and you're pointing it directly at a wrought iron gate.
Oh.
See the gate where it's going to pick up what's in front of other
Looked like a
things?
purple stick figure.
Yes. So with your camera, what it's doing, oh, by the way, you and David cannot point your cameras at each other.
Okay.
The reason why, David, for example, let's go ahead and point that. So point your camera to the ground, and then David, film what's on the ground right now. Can you see like the square that's coming out of her camera? It looks like a square of dots.
I do not.
Interesting. It might be because of the motion light behind us.
Probably.
Point your camera up a little bit this way.
No, but I mean, from 72 down to 60 something, and then back up to
So what is this purple sticky thing?
So what it's doing right now is it's picking up your shadow.
Oh, really?
Because it's an absence of light. So whatever's in front of something else, that's where you always constantly have to look up, look down, look up, look down, so that way you can see, like, what is it picking up. When I do a lightening up of this, the first thing I noticed was you have a wrought iron gate over there with a lot of things in front of another thing. So physical objects that we can see like that, it's going to pick things up as far as depth perception. So with your camera, I'm always trying to, like, what is that? What is that? What is that? That's why it takes me so long to go through this. But in real time, it's a matter of, like, looking at your actual surroundings and then what's on the camera. So go ahead and point it up, for example, at Carlacia. You should have a full figure because she is in front of the dumpster. You kind of see my point? It's also going to pick up the shapes of cars and see how it's going to start picking up different things based on how much
So
light's
what
coming
about the
through.
color? Because when we used it first, it was red. Now it's purple. So what's that?
No, it's always been purple.
Oh, it has? Okay, I thought it was red.
Yeah, I have it set because the way the cameras actually work, David's camera comes up in a purple hue, so I make sure this
Okay.
one has a green background with purple
Okay.
sticks.
Okay.
So that way you guys can tell the difference on your cameras. But yeah, I like to stick to that, so try not to swipe the screen either way, then it'll change the filter. I like to keep it to green and purple. But again, just keep in mind of what's in front of something else. You're going to pick up cars, you're going to pick up gates,
Okay.
and the shadow thing throws people off all the time because there was an absence of light there. So that's why you're always going to see a figure like on the ground. So, David, you can go ahead and hit that start button and get some nice slow motions out of there.
Do I turn this on now?
Yeah, go ahead and get yourself unmuted and start listening in. Just start asking your questions. And you should be already hitting that button, like your button should have turned to a square.
Can somebody please come out and show me
So when it's a square, it's recorded. Don't pay attention to the time.
who you are? Could you please show me
I
yourself?
said, Eliza, are you here?
Please show
Her
me.
thing said gasping. And when she said, Eliza, is that you? This jumped to 15. And
I keep getting chills, like somebody's here, you know.
It's very haunted over there.
Yes. Stored in the memory bank. Okay.
I really would like somebody to come out and play. Children, is there some Pinkney children here that you could... Pinkney children, could you please come out and play? Come on, we're all safe to be around. Can you come play? Do you think you could come play? Stand over here with me, in front of me, and play? Play, play, play.
Gasping.
It's a real-time moment, and that's also just a question to ask Eliza.
No, I said, Eliza, are you here? Come closer. And then her thing said, yeah. Yeah.
Is there anybody here? Anybody from the Pinkney family? Please come. Please come out and show yourself on my screen.
Not to 25, but like 50.
Could you please come out and play on my screen?
Is this normal for
Eliza Pinkney, Charles Pinkney, children, the Pinkney children.
right at the same time as Spike?
Would you please come and play? I'd like to see you. And I'm safe. It's safe to come out.
Yeah,
It's safe to come out and play.
the jump, and then I looked at the temperature. Yeah. I got a little flashlight.
It's on my resume right there.
You got good eyes.
No, I don't actually. What's funny is I don't even wear my glasses because I don't want to, like, I try not to keep all the flares out.
Right, yeah, I understand that.
please come out and play? Little Pinkney children, Eliza Pinkney, Charles Pinkney. We know you used to live here on this spot. Are your spirits with us still? Are your spirits here? Would you come out and show yourself, please? We're safe. We just want to know that you're here.
All right. So, Michelle, can you just
Dear Pinkney family, would you please come out and show us yourselves? Are your spirits here? Are your spirits here?
Good, 28 When I asked her what did she do with the indigo flowers, Eliza, I love planting flowers. What's your favorite plant or flower?
My dear Pinkney family that used to live on this spot, we know you're in spirit now, and we would love to see you in front of us. We are very safe to be around. Eliza, are you here? Charles Pinkney, are you here? Children, Pinkney children, are you here? Do you think you could come and stand in front of me? Come and play? Please come and play. Would you please come out and play? Calling the Pinkney family that used to live here on this land. Are you in spirit now? Do you think you could come out? Could you come over here? Please stand in front of me. I would greatly appreciate that. I would like to see you. I would really love to see you.
The only memory.
Kim, anything
Yeah.
crazy coming up?
No.
Okay. So I want to make sure. Let's go ahead and point it like towards Debra and the dog. I want to see if we pick up the dog. I don't think I've had this with the dog yet.
Ah.
Nope, nothing on the dog.
Wow, now why wouldn't you pick up the dog?
It should. The dog is also dark in color, so it's
Do animals I would assume that dogs would pick up
they can.
spirits around.
They can, but they also have a different way of their vision is completely different than
Yeah,
ours. So I
yeah.
actually did a study on that, just to try to debunk a lot of those kind of things. And it is kind of a 50-50 shot that if a dog is sensitive the same way a person is sensitive, it can and will happen.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
a dog's not going to hold back because
Okay.
dogs don't hold emotions the way we do.
Yeah.
So Cayenne over there, like she's pretty docile.
Yeah.
And obviously she's working, and I understand what it's like to have a working dog that's focused. So as far as not picking up in your particular camera, the dog's dark in color. So again, when there's a little bit of a lack of light, it's going to have a hard time. So
Okay.
just kind of keep that in mind as well.
Okay.
I was just curious to see if it would actually pick her up. Yeah, the closer you get to her, you might pick her up. We're seeing if Cayenne's showing up. Obviously has a depth of perception. I've tested it on my dogs. It does pick them up. But she's so dark in color, the camera's having a hard time. So I was just curious.
I asked Eliza if she had a relative in Boston, and she said, again. And now I have Creek.
There's a river of where she took the indigo to. Stono River. There's a cash crop down there.
And maybe she'll show up now.
I would love Pinkney's dear Pinkney family. Do you think you could come and visit me and show yourself on the screen? I would love to see you. Eliza Pinkney, Charles Pinkney, Pinkney children, are you here? I know this used to be your home site, and I'm not quite sure what happened, but maybe you don't want to come back here, but we would love to see you. We would love, 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 love to see you.
Yeah, I've looked into that name here. It shows up on that box often. Anything else? It's not going to. That's all you're going to get out of it. If it's not clear, it doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
So don't freak out because you're not catching it.
Okay.
Remember, when everybody else is listening to, they're only getting all of that for a lot of ones.
Are you getting anything? Are you getting anything?
It's kind of hard because it's all radio stations in your ear, so it's hard to hear like anything else.
Yeah.
So all I'm hearing is, you know how like when you turn the radio from station to station. So yeah, that's all I. It's kind of hard to listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
Alright guys, let's rein it in. Come on back.
Now, should I turn this
Go
off?
ahead and kill yours.
Okay.
Let them take their spot. I'm kind of glad that there's nobody here right now. So Kim, with yours, I mean, you literally can hold that thing at your side, still focus on me, and we can have footage of the entire alley from the entire time that we're here. So you can just relax and hold it
it's
comfortably.
just-
Hold it from the top.
Okay.
There you go. Nope, other way, because now we're getting your leg.
What?
You've swiped. There you go, and you've swiped it. So let's go back to our let's go back to our green screen. I think we have to stop it. So yeah, you're just gonna hold it so it faces down the alley, just like that.
Okay.
And you can rest it comfortably, so that way we can see whatever comes up. All right, so with yours, I mean, if you want to rest comfortably the same way, so just have it pointed one way or the other. That's not directly on you. There you go. Perfect. Look at you, being all discreet. Love you guys. Did you hear anything along the way? I know we were kind of chatting. Nothing coming up. All right, so just make sure your numbers are spinning on there, like normal. Okay, so make sure you're still good. She has the one that's been altered. Did you hear anything along the way?
A lot of Dolly Parton.
A lot of Dolly Parton. Remember, I don't care that you're Dolly.
Nothing
All right, perfect.
interesting in that word.
I hate to say I'm going to ignore the numbers you gave me because I expect those.
Yeah.
The crosswalks are going to give off a lot of EMF.
Oh.
So again, I expect those. So welcome to Philadelphia Alley, everybody. So this used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So I say some because it was illegal back then and they had to find their spot. This was one of those spots. We all talk about the same duel, but we're not doing campfire and marshmallow stories tonight, are we? We're not having a normal ghost tour. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail because you guys are ghost hunting. You're going to need those details for what you're listening for. So here's how the story goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If you spirit box people actually hear the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're down here, it's not coincidence, it's part of his name. We get it often. Anyway, he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after her cash. So he tells her, get rid of the doctor. So he comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So, as he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston. Is she okay?
She just sees something.
Well, somebody was moving down there.
Oh,
Somebody just went into where the
I was like, I don't know what she sees.
There was a person moving down there. So, understandable. Sorry, debunked. I know you're all thinking the same thing I am.
No,
that the dog can see the
I've
ghosts.
never seen her react to a ghost, so I don't think she's seen that. I keep looking and I don't see
a person just
I
got
think
through
our
it.
dog's too dumb to see a ghost.
Our dog is haunted.
The dog is haunted. Awesome. So back to Amanda and the doctor. So somebody was walking by and seeing that Dr. Ladd was about to be robbed and killed from this coachman, and his name was Ralph Isaacs. I stopped on Ralph for a second because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. The letters RI were showing up on your spirit boxes, and I do have a digital Ouija board. That's a new device that was just invented last year. I call it an envoy. I don't bring it out every night because it's not as productive as what we're using tonight. I normally only bring that out with the larger groups from 10 to 11 people, just to kind of see what we're going to get out of it. But the reason why I use it is because I'm looking for those letters RI, so considering we've got it on your style of spirit box before, from a DJ that just says RI, like he's spelling something. But two different characters, we need a secondary clue so we know who it belongs to. You guys get the point. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. You can come. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room from some friends of mine. Doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he wasn't after Amanda's money. She gets wind of this. She's moving down. They're going to get married and live happily ever after. Dr. Ladd became known as the whistling doctor. This is the 1780s where men actually whistled when they were happy. What I will also tell you is that every haunted city you're ever going to visit is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. So it might be his hat too, by the way, because it's you guys wear similar hats, so I don't know. Not sure. Just kidding. Yeah. It could be the camera.
I'm okay. It's okay. I'm okay.
All right, perfect. So just want to make sure she was good.
Oh yeah, she's good.
Lost my train of thought. Oh,
Whistling doctor.
whistling doctor. So cliched whistling ghost at every haunted city you're ever going to visit. We all have one, just so you know. But we actually have proof of this one, so I'm going to get to that. Again, I wouldn't lie to you. So Ralph and the doctor go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy is here in Charleston at the time. So they used to talk about these plays on the way home. They went to go see Richard III one night, and they're arguing on the way home over the new actress that was here in town. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly. They went their separate ways. Ralph, as you know, lived here for a long time and had friends. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor after his argument. Like, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality, kind of, defaming him. Dr. Ladd saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dumo's Alley. We're going to settle this once and for all, and somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which was often what happened at a duel, by the way. Not everybody dies. But Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap, in the doctor. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, on November 2nd of 1786. So, as he was waiting to die, he also refused medical treatment. You have to remember that this guy is a doctor, and it's 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different back then. He probably tried to bleed out the lead poisoning himself. So kind of keep that in mind. That is speculated. So every ghost tour down here will tell you, listen for the whistles. You guys hear how quiet it is right now? It's always like this, no matter what. We do get some air conditioners that'll be running, but it is always this quiet, even on a busy Saturday afternoon on East Bay Street in King. You can barely hear it over here. It's the weirdest thing. However, you don't need to listen for the whistles right now. We're running 3 cameras plus my voice recorder, so you can listen for it later and see what happens. If you're going to come down here on your own and try to go all the way through, turn on your voice recorders and kind of see what you get. Keep in mind, every local knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. I do it every night. And I do it because I actually got kicked out of here. So I don't know who these folks are, but hopefully they're not neighbors, because I actually got kicked out of here by one of the neighbors. I actually tell you that story, so let's kind of get into that slowly as these folks walk by. You worried about their dog coming through?
Yeah.
She's not at this point, but I got
Go
a
ahead, keep
Matthew
talking, I'm
8:20 if that means anything.
Yeah, we might have a little. Do we need to move?
Duel.
You
Well,
just-
Cayenne will
there is a
bother
duel
them,
going on
but
right
we don't
now.
know about other dogs.
Right. So we'll just kind of silently wait for them to come through. Are you hearing anything coming out of there? Nothing? Andrea, you got anything?
Matthew 8:20,
8:20. And the name Matt. Interesting.
like the proverb or whatever.
Gotcha. I understand. Sometimes that actually means something too. We've gotten that before.
You told me to meet this, right?
Yes. Hello, folks.
Oh. I think the dog told me to shut up.
Maybe. Or he told you his name.
You'll have his name.
Because didn't you hear the name Dominic earlier? Or somebody?
on our
Somebody?
screen.
Yeah.
I had it.
Yeah, I thought maybe the dog's name is Dominic. Who do we know? But anyway, so Asia got kicked out of here. Let's get into that. That's fun. So Nick getting in trouble. So this alley didn't always go all the way through that way. There was actually a wall up there. And that's the reason why, is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. It used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So again, you can see I do a lot of my history. But that means that the bricks on the other side of this alley, all the way down that end, are older than the ones we're standing on. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's one full handprint from a slave child down at the end, along with some fingerprint swipes. November 26th, 2020, I was new at this still, and I took my group all the way through like I normally do, but I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. That's the last place you're going to find him. However, my entire group of 10 is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, well, not funny, because I'm trying to shoo them along, because I'm trying to be respectful, because it's right outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't know I was out of bounds. I was still new at this. The new owner came out yelling. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. So the next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work Thanksgiving. I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. Higher management. So you guys can understand why I'm never working Thanksgiving again in my life. So the day after that was November 28th. I called my partner up that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. And he said, dude, you can't go that far. You got to only take your folks halfway or reroute the group. So I decided I'm going to just stay out of trouble because I'm new, and I'm going to reroute the group. What I told my team was, I've never had anything happen at this next location. I've been there dozens of times. No activity occurs there. And I also don't believe in the story. It's a pirate story, and I'm a vampire guy. So before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So I went, well, hot damn, maybe we will have something. We get down there, and I told them the little bit of research I was able to do that day, and it was very little. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time. I write it down, the research the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, damn it, now I got to learn about pirates. Here's my problem with pirates. I'm a writer. I have a master's degree in creative writing. I need facts and details. Pirates are pirate lore. It is very difficult to piece together a factual investigation based on pirates. Everything we're going to be discussing at the next location will hopefully be bleed over from here that you guys are going to be hearing, but everything I mentioned will be coming from a minimum of 2 resources. Just know that. Worst case scenario, because this is a hit or miss location, Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town based on the relativity of the space. But the hope is that she's going to be there at the exact same time that we will. So hopefully we get bleed over from this location into our pirate story at the next location, but it is a crazy ass story. We're talking a female pirate on the run. So again, I mean, you can see how this can get a little hairy. And I have to kind of watch my tone when there's little kids on the tour because it can get very, we'll just say sexual. So
Feel free to let loose with
I'm
us.
going to. You guys are a pretty nifty group. All right, so now that our dog fellow is out of the room, I also tell you about the gate behind me, which is part of the reason why we stopped here. And it kind of shows you how I put clues together. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall up there.
Right.
So if there was a loser to the duel, this gate wasn't here, but the archway was. This was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down to Queen Street with a dead body, dead weight, and bring it all the way back up and around. Double the steps. So they created the archway. I call this the death gate. The wrought iron was probably put there in the early 1900s based on the ironwork of it. But the archway has always been there. So again, you can see where I can put the Cow Alley to Dueler's Alley to today and kind of piece all of those things together to kind of show you like how this actually went down. So, any other major questions about dueling? Did we hear anything crazy while we were here? I know, Carlacia, you're muted, so you're out of the loop.
Surgery and full bottle of liquor, and that's it.
Kind of like the surgery piece. We're talking about a doctor, right?
That's what I was thinking.
So it's vague, but it's definitely a medical term, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking for more specifics, so hopefully those are going to pop up in the next location. All right, let's go talk pirates. You guys ready for this? It's rated R.
Aye, aye,
I
sir.
already got my
Aye,
joke.
aye.
We're going to go this way.
That's a you joke.
They did it again.
Oh, now it's hit the phone.
Had
I'm
woods for
hoping we
a
have
while.
some decent footage out of this. Every 6 months I renew
When you
these
said
devices
pirates,
because
it
they
was
get used
two
every
point something,
year.
but then as soon as you
right
stopped
along.
talking, it went back to zero.
Every 6 months I just write a new one, or I just get a new one. So we're back to recording. So if you don't want to record along the way, go ahead and stop it, and then stop the recording once we get over there again. So if you're recording right here. All right, definitely unmute. Let's get
I
you.
wonder exactly where it was, where the door was. It was like around here or down there, you know?
Oh, okay. Are you getting warm? I'm sweaty.
Maybe I can't hear as good.
Well, I can see people down the far end.
Does he looks exactly and sound like his voice is different, you know.
After I give you the history, anybody else hear anything weird? Nothing at all?
Remove the weight and
Man, I
joint.
feel
Yeah, those are the only two. Remove the weight and then joint. Everything else is just.
So, keep in mind, you have an extra earbud. She can help you. So, if she's willing to listen, because again, you're I hate to say it like this, but you're obviously struggling.
Ghost hunter, yeah.
So again, that's why I do it this way with the earbuds, so that way you guys can both listen in. So that way she can help you listen in. Remember, you're listening for those radio stations. Anything weird come out of yours?
I don't know
Let's
what
go
I'm
ahead and
listening
you up so I can
for.
cover the history. You're gonna be able to turn it back on here in just a moment. Debra, with yours, at this front half over here, I don't get excited for two reasons. We have two electrical poles in the corners, and we also have the parking meters on the other side of these bushes. So it's,
at 0 to 1.
yeah, and that's normal for the space. In the back half, if you get anything, I would say above a 2.5 to a 3, I'm going to be a little excited. This is not the Pinckney Mansion, but if we do get answers, they primarily come out of spirit boxes and any kind of camera work. So David, with your camera, the biggest orb and most intelligent orb I've ever caught has been at this location. When I say biggest, it was bigger than my head. So it was giant. And it was caught in real time. So where are we? We're at the Power Magazine. So that's the little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. I'm going to point out those are not crosses. I don't think anybody's from here, so you have no idea what those are. They're earthquake bolts. Earthquake bolts are turnbuckles. So basically, if we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles. It tightens the building back up so it doesn't incur any further damage. I bring that up because it's part of the reason why we're here, but you should know that that idea of earthquake bolts doesn't actually work. Californians laugh their asses off at me every time I have them on the tour because they know it doesn't work. So, they do not work. But I bring it up because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. Why? That's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. You guys all watch the TV shows and you've seen them use a teddy bear to attract the child ghost. This is the same type of principle. The child would recognize the teddy bear as a toy, something to play with, and Bonnie would recognize this because it was here when she was. We don't have many buildings this old. This is why she is said to be seen all over town. You guys get my point, right? So let's get into her crazy history. This building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But anyway, so 1703 to 1713 was when the construction was going on. Anne Cormack came here in 1708. Follow me, there's a lot of twists in this crazy ass story. In 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father, his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you guys with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. You guys got my point? She's pretty pissed off. So I normally warn the gentlemen in the group, don't piss off your lady, she'll kick you out of the country by boat. So, because it's 1708. No, sorry, I don't know the relationship between the two of you.
Oh no, it's funny because my dad's pretty high up in the government,
Oh,
and he for sure have addressed some of your relatives in the past. So this is a joke we've already made for years.
okay, fair enough. So, with that said, they come here and they land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach, if you're not familiar. So that's about an hour and a half north of here. But Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to Charlestown at the time, to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Now, let's take another quick trip back to Ireland for a second, because Anne was said to be a badass even back then when she was a child. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We have gotten the terms servant, knife, and belly on 3 different boxes in one evening. So just so you guys have that information of who this young lady is. Fast forward. Building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love, so that way she can earn her freedom just like a man. So again, it's a man's world at this point. First guy she falls in love with, and yes, I said first because there is a handful, and we're going to go through all of them. So, first guy is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going. Dad didn't approve, filthy pirate, they ran away to Jamaica, got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the name comes from. However, her new husband, James Bonney, is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which means he's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wanted. She wanted an actual pirate. A few years later, she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you guys were wondering. This guy has his own ship, and Anne wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Think family friendly. Okay, everybody's thinking dirty thoughts. It's because it's bad luck. So again, I try to keep it simple, but you guys all went there. That's kind of funny. But anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of it, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland, boy apprentice, to hide her from his wife. So she gets it. Let's do this. She's a pirate. We're all adults here. Put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, right? And then they're going to vote Jack off the ship as captain. So he just won't be on the ship anymore. So Jack drops Anne off in Cuba before she starts the show that she's pregnant. Go have the baby here, come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. They have no idea what happened to this baby. The irony part of the story is that she comes back dressed as a female. She doesn't care about hiding her gender, and Jack is really pissed off at this point. He captured another pirate crew while she was gone, or down below deck. She's going to go flirting, because that's who Anne is. Guy number 3, in case you all lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. I know somebody heard or saw the name Mark earlier, but I still think it was a little too far away for her story.
Mary Jane earlier too.
How long ago?
Like
In here?
And it was the Beatles song like Mary Jane.
Gotcha.
Or something. Yes.
So, back to Mary and Anne. They became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary, the rumor is, were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use cannon drink. They haven't been pirates for very long. Now, 2 ladies with flintlocks are obviously not going to take on a whole fleet of British ships. So, they get arrested. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, Calico Jack, and she tells him, "I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot. Just in case you guys were wondering, not to mention we have Cayenne here tonight, so maybe it'll provoke something. So, with that said, the judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already hung and tried Calico Jack and a drunk crew that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front and reveal their gender, and he doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. So, we plead our bellies was the last thing they screamed out, trying to save themselves, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary, because we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, we do not know much about her after her pirate career, and there's a lot of speculation about what happened to her after her pirate career. Some say she stayed here, other stories will tell you she went to Virginia and held a family up there under a different name. Mary Reed died a few months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books and articles will tell you that it was some kind of fever, something very simple. I say we're researching pirates, let's be romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? Let's make it bumpy and gross and whatever else you guys want to come up with. So, a couple of things in this location. I've already kind of told you about your EMF. We definitely want to get footage from all 3 cameras. Keep in mind we're down to 2 cars, but we're here for the familiarity of the building. I only left out a few major facts, but 2 of them primarily. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. Yes, I do know those. And it normally comes up in one phrase, just so you guys know. It's usually one person that comes back to me and gives me both names out of one phrase. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So that kind of gives you another question to stir up with. This is not a prominent English woman where you need to kind of tiptoe with your questions. Poke the bear here. Let's get some answers out of Anne. I also left out the name of the city of where she grew up in Ireland and the color of her hair. So if you wanted some other minor details about her, by all means, go for it. But we're going to spread out here and kind of see what happens. Again, hit or miss. I'm going to know within 5 minutes what's going on with your spirit boxes and the camera work. And I may have to wrap it up early. But you got a crazy pirate story to take home. So let's do this. Get yourself unmuted. Be mindful of people cutting through. Let's do this. So she said she heard Mary Jane. She's gonna break that one down. Did you get anything while we were over there?
I was trying to listen to
I know.
you.
So most people will focus on
Yes,
that.
the middle age. I can't hear as good as what.
So I will tell you what I'm going to do. Like I have headphones on, my notes, I thought he cranked up, so I can find
I did not think you were. I thought you were.
Well, I'm also clean shaven, so that's where most of the gray will come out. So, but yeah, again, and
So I'm sorry, I'm not the best coach, but I'm trying to listen to you more than this, I
so
guess.
just like I was talking to Kim, like on in between spaces, I'm pretty good about choosing who gets what device.
Yeah.
That's why you have the one that's recording.
Oh, this is recording me?
No, it's recording the
Oh.
radio suites. So again, I'm pretty good at like
Yeah.
you might struggle with this.
Yes,
so
I
that
might
way-
struggle. Yes,
so
give me
that
the
way-
special one. That
Right. And that's the fun part of this. So again, you've been listening to it all
yeah,
night.
we've gone to quite a few ghost things. She always hears things, and I'm just listening.
Oh,
You've heard
the
a lot,
The
yeah.
mansion that we were in.
That Bill, what was the mansion in?
Mount Joy, Mount
I forget what that mansion's
heard all
called.
kinds of stuff. But I mean, I
Physical
heard-
hours.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really cool. But I forget what the name of that mansion was.
I will tell you, we have caught a person sitting on top of that garbage can, like sitting, like literally legs crossed.
No way.
Yeah, so we've caught that. So just be mindful. There's a lot of depth perception over there between the little hut that's there for parking and the, those kind of things. But we have some good lighting in here, so this is a fun place to like move slowly and see what comes up. But keep in mind, it will pick up the shapes.
Okay. So when you're going through this, like, how do you know the difference between like a ghost and a human being stick
So
figure
what I
on
do
here?
is when I see something that I'm not sure what it is, I will take a screenshot of it. Like I pause the video, take a screenshot, and make it a JPEG, and then I lighten it up to see if there's anything behind it, something like this tree
Oh,
branch that's going to
okay.
give me that shape.
Okay.
I've caught some anomalies where there's a person standing there, and there's another person standing behind them, ghost-wise, in a different position.
Yes.
So
I mean,
that's what I'm
you see
looking
on
for.
TV a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
So I make sure I lighten it up so you guys actually get the
Okay.
original raw screenshot and the one I've lightened up so
okay.
you can compare it.
Okay.
So I give those back to you, and it's interactive, even on the website. So you
Okay.
use a slide bars to kind of see it yourself.
Okay.
So, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into that one. So for every 5 minutes that's recorded,
Okay.
I watch
so
or
why
listen.
did it look like somebody was up here?
So it's going to pick up. Remember that those are empty spaces up
Okay.
there, so it's going to pick
Okay.
up the bars.
But why did it look like a person?
It's always going to try to make it look like a person
Okay.
because it's a ghost thing.
Okay.
So they're going to try to make
Okay.
as many false positives
Okay.
as
All
possible.
right.
So that's where it comes up to me to debunk a lot of
Okay.
things. But again, this is still new, so I'm still kind of testing it out. We have
Okay.
had some things where I'm like, I have no idea. There's no other explanation other than what I can tell you what was going on.
Okay.
But with that, obviously we have somebody in the background.
Right.
Anything going on with you? Nothing?
0.0.
Okay.
Almost the whole, I walked that whole back thing.
Oh, it's my shadow. It's funny. It picks up my shadow.
You want my?
No, because then I can't walk around. Like,
children did you have overall, man? What happened to the child in Cuba?
And the pirate are you?
One thing is I'm gonna find stuff in there for you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I hope you do. You'll be like,
Oh, I will.
send that to Kim that you found stuff.
How many average people were on your ship when you were on the ship with Jack?
Getting anything? You got anything coming up on yours weird? Alright, let's rein it in. Head towards it.
We heard I. Yeah, we just heard I. Oh, here's a bird, yeah. Oh. You walked by it earlier today, didn't you?
Oh, we parked right behind it.
Steps somewhat. Like steps forward. Like I'd almost think that would be in front of the door. There are.
What's the return thing?
I'm here every night.
Didn't know you'd return.
So go ahead and use that for me. Also tell you this is a non-smoking park. So I know we have quite a few smokers in here tonight. This is definitely a non-smoking park.
That's fine.
So, Andrea and David, I need you guys to have a seat over here.
Tim wants company. He said, sit.
Perfect. I'll do
They're
this.
gonna sit. So, here's how this is gonna work. So, I'm gonna basically hand Andrea
DNA.
DNA.
Yeah.
DNA.
She's geeking.
Alright, so you don't need to put any of this stuff on yet until we come back. I hand it to you over here so it gives you time to open up the blindfold and get you some headphones. You got no need to put the gear on here until we come back over. The reason why is because when we come back over, we are going to be huddled in pretty close. It doesn't look good when I'm blindfolding my guests in the middle of a dark park in the middle of the night. So you guys are getting the point. So this blindfold, when you open it up, actually is 2-ply. You're going to lift up on the nose piece and then grip it. It'll create 2 earpieces to go over your ear, so that way it doesn't go over your head and mess up your hair. This guy is still relatively new, so just kind of get a feel for how this guy moves around. So because you will be putting this on when you're blindfolded. So go ahead and get used to those. I'm going to go give them the very brief history. We'll come back and give you.
And I'm using this.
Yeah, put it.
Okay, that's not. Just an FYI.
Yeah.
She saw something, and she immediately
Oh,
is
did you see the
backing
lip?
up like she's
Did you
scared.
see that?
Yeah, but
Was that
that's
the
the
light?
light.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It picks up weird shadows and
She just
picks
she
up
went
lights and fences
backed
and
up.
don't
Like,
see any
she did
orbs.
not like what she saw.
Are you going to be a ghost hunting dog?
Maybe. Do a great job later.
Oh, it's right here, right this here.
Yeah, so it's 2-ply.
And
Think of it as you're just gonna peel it apart like it's.
Oh.
There you go. All right.
She's fine now.
You guys
Whatever
ready to go
was
learn the
done.
histories while she gets this all set up? We're gonna go. We're gonna take 10 steps this way.
What would you like? What do you want me to give you?
We're gonna be here for like 5 minutes, and then get super comfortable.
Give me.
All right, so the first time I came here, I had no idea what we were going to find. This is my new space, so I was letting my team I only had 2 people that night because some people canceled. So I said, we're going to go explore and find my new space for next year. They said, fine, great. Look around, guys. There's a million monuments. I didn't know what we were going to find. As soon as we walked in here, the young lady using the spirit box for the year 1828. Then we had Henry show up, and then the name Tim showed up on that spirit box that you're using, just like it did over there. So the gentleman on this bust is Henry Timrod, born in 1828.
Timrod.
So that's where I was like, hot damn, there's my ghost. So, quick story on Timrod, and then we're kind of go see what kind of answers we can get out of her. The man was sick for most of his life. So I'm going to get into that portion, but obviously being born in 1828, you can see he was alive and wanted to fight for the Civil War. So he goes out to the battlefield and he wants to fight. He's got to sniff around. A lot of dogs come here.
Yeah, I know.
But she's not supposed to do this when she has a vest on, but she's never been like
she's
this
wrapping
before.
all the way around.
A fair.
See if I can get her. Diane, come on. Diane, come on. Let's go, baby. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Come on. Good girl.
Hi, come. Come.
Good girl.
Come over here. Sit.
Sorry, my wife is an animal behaviorist.
Thank you.
So, anyway, so he goes out to the fight. His comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they knew he was a writer. They said, go home and be the voice of the war. Basically, they wanted him to come home and write about what was going on the battlefield. That's exactly what he did in poetry form. So he comes home and he's writing about the war, and he became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. Pretty prestigious title for us writers. So a few years go by, he has a son. You guys are going to know about the son? They're not. The son's name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later, October 23rd. So,
Yeah, cute.
very tragic. Obviously, the son was only 9
That's what
months old, so
cussing
he's
is.
mourning. A few more years go by, and he's not writing as much. His college buddy gets a hold of him and basically says, I see you're not writing as much. Come out to my cottage, finish the piece you're supposed to be working on, and let your wife, Katie, mourn at home with her parents. So he goes out to his cottage, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality.
Sacrilege and extreme.
We're getting to that. So, the DNA piece is going to make a whole lot more sense here. So, he writes his last words of beholder of brief mortality, which basically means person of short life. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. That blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. They show this book one day a year at the Charleston Library Society on Halloween only. You have to be a member of the society to go see the book in real live person. However, the internet's beautiful. You need to see what the book looks like so you know what I'm talking about with this blood stain. You can see where the DNA piece for me was exciting. So again, not that I know that he would have known what DNA was back then, back in 1867, but you get my point. It's not like he hasn't been haunting the earth for quite a few years to be able to know those things. So once we show you the blood book, because that's what we call it here in Charleston, we're going to go get some answers from Henry by using Andrea as a medium. So you can see where and to me, the story is all on this page. Beholder of brief mortality is right here at the bottom, and then he coughs and dies right on the page.
Wow.
So
It's weird looking too because it looks like a person's face in
It
the
does,
arm,
yeah.
like they're falling
Like-
like
Yeah.
that.
Or like he's writing,
Think.
leaning
Think.
over and writing.
all right, let's go see if we can get some answers.
Can you turn it on?
You're going to be muted. So all of the cameras, I'll have David film the whole thing, but you're just going to be panning left and right, probably around us. Just be mindful of
Somehow.
people walking by. All right, let's go see if we can get our answers. Alright, so go get her tapped out for a second. Go ahead and tap her leg for me, and let's get her out of there because I got to give her a few tips before she jumps right in. David, can you tap her leg for me?
Huh?
Let's get all that gear off. I got to give you a few tips before you really jump in. Okay. So, a couple of things. You're not going to know anything, obviously, about the history we just talked about because you've had that thing cranked up. I will also tell you that once you're under, I'm only going to keep you eye on breathing. David, you will be filming this from whatever angle you wish to, but we're going to be crowding, we're going to crowd in even closer, just so you guys know. I'm going to be keeping an eye on your breathing. Like I said, David will tap your leg when I'm ready to tap you out. This is the only part of our time together, just so everybody knows that I actually keep track of the time, and that's only because any further than that, it's going to be very disorienting, which you've already probably seen for the past 2 to 3 minutes that you've had over here on. So, I'm going to be asking you random questions. Obviously, you can use yes/no answers if you hear them. This is probably the only instance where I would accept a yes/no answer, especially if I know the answer to the question. So, when you come out, do not get up. You may be a little bit more disoriented than you would normally expect. It's not going to feel like you're going to be under for 10 minutes. You might think we're pulling you out early for some odd reason. That's not the case. You guys are getting the point of why we're doing this, right? All right. So again, have you guys seen this on your TV shows?
No.
Some of them do it, some of them don't.
Yeah,
I've only
there's
seen it
a
on-
blonde and a young kid that do this quite often.
Okay.
I don't know what their names are.
Okay. All right. So I do want to definitely keep it full circle. So if we can have you two stand up, I'd like to keep everything nice and huddled around. So again, even if you wanted to get up so you're not arm angling it, that's perfectly fine too. But again, blindfolding people in the dark isn't always a safety thing. So once you get started, I will, you kind of already have the gist of how to put all your gear on comfortably. I will start a timer, and you can start repeating. Or make sure you're giving us what you hear in real time. Okay. So, and by the way, we can hear you. Whisper.
Yep,
Please.
I'm not gonna yell. You're good.
Everybody wants to yell because they can't hear. So, all right, let's do this. For the rest of you, just keep track. Like, I don't break anything down during this, so I can stay focused on the questions. A lot of times, I may ask real-time questions as well. Things about like, hey, what's going on with colors of my shirt? What's going on with the church? You guys are getting the point. So again, I don't keep track. I do watch this full video later on, which is why I'm having David film the whole thing, because that way I can actually see it when actually things are happening. So she's already spinning, and it is, now that she's under, 11:03. Okay, perfect. All right, so. Make sure she's playing with the volume right now.
Charleston. The first.
Okay, she's getting right into it. So, Henry Timrod, I want you to, you know it's me, Nick. I want you to first tell me what your occupation was, please. We're going to start there.
Ambitious.
You weren't very ambitious.
Stayed out of trouble.
Yes, you did. So, Henry, please tell us what your occupation was. Henry Timrod. If there's somebody else here with you, please state your name. Please state their name or how many people are here with us tonight. And the person, just so everybody knows. I don't know why or who it is. But that is Henry Timrod. This is Andrea. She can hear you. She's the one wearing the blindfold and the funny things over her ears. That's how she's able to hear you. You know how this works. We've been doing this for over a month now. Please tell us your occupation.
Uplifting.
Try again.
Hurt you.
We can hear you too. You just need to tell us what the answers are to the questions that I'm asking. Please tell us your occupation.
The enemy is talking.
I am not your enemy.
My father glorified.
That's interesting. Why don't you tell us about your father? What was his name?
Remain unheard.
Oh, your poetry has been resounding through the country based on what you've been writing. Tell us about your father. You mentioned him. We're near St. Michael's Church.
Outside.
That's cool. Henry Timrod, what was the name of your father?
That's right.
Did you name your son after your father? son after your father? Did I put the...
Just before 20. What are you gonna do?
Oh, you're waiting for me to ask the question? You're not answering anything specifically. What do we normally hear out of the church? What sound do we normally get?
You did not get one.
Not tonight, not right now. But you told us last night. Can you tell us that again? What sound normally comes out of the church?
Light flows.
What sound do we get out of the church? It's been 4 minutes, just so everybody knows.
What matters?
Henry Timrod, I've asked you a lot of questions about your father, your son, your occupation, and St. Michael's Church.
We were on the same road.
You can answer any of those questions at this point, since I've asked so many.
Turn around and somebody wake up.
Please tell us the name of your son, Henry Timrod. If you are here with us, tell us something specific about you, your family members. You told me quite a bit about your wife last week. Very impressive stuff you gave us.
Uplifting and supportive.
It's the second time she's at uplifting.
Everything.
Henry Timrod. Tell us about your wife. What's her name?
No, it was my dog. Sorry. It was just
You're
my
good.
dog.
You're
No.
good. Henry, we have
How
an
much?
we have an animal here with us tonight. Can you tell us what type of animal we have laying here with us? Her name's Cayenne. What type of animal?
A team helped. Grandma.
Henry Timrod, something simple. Are you from Charleston?
Young man.
Henry. We've asked a lot of questions.
Drink.
We're running out of time. You haven't answered anything directly.
46th mark.
He was 13. Henry Timrod, I'm getting a little disappointed. Do you want to give us anything specific about your life?
You
What about me? 7 minutes.
only want.
I'm looking to learn more about your life.
It reminds us of God.
I pay you respect every night while we're here. I'm also a writer, as you know. I have been reading your poetry. I'm learning more about you with every clue you give us. But it has to come from you directly. That is my process of researching and writing.
The Republic. Keep my commandment.
What sound do we normally get out of the church?
The wheelhouse. Now you're that wrapped up.
Henry Timrod, is there other people here with you, aside from us filming everything?
That doesn't lie.
How many people are here with you?
Stay away.
I don't want to
Only
stay.
your friends.
Henry, how many other people are here with you, and who are they? ahead and tap her out if you don't mind. Go ahead.
Isn't that
All right.
cool?
So, how long do you think you were under?
7 minutes.
Oh, we were getting close to 9. We
Oh.
tapped you a little early because you had no answers.
Not getting anything.
Nothing specific.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. You have to remember, they have to be able to speak back to us. So with this type of experiment, it goes either really well or really bad. This was very unsuccessful. No direct answers whatsoever, not even a hint or a clue. We did get the name Mike that showed up on the word list. We are next to St. Michael's.
Wife.
Also very vague, unless I have the name of the wife. So if that makes sense. So what I do with the recording from, oh, you're not recording. I forgot to start. That's my mistake. What I would normally do is, because it does have a very small SD card on it, unlike yours, it has a larger one. I would normally record this session just so you guys had this separated. But again, being an unsuccessful method, we still have the entire recording that's going on over there. So again, you'll know based on the timestamps at the time frame that we were actually here. We did get some great footage. Kudos to you, man. Like, you have some good angles. So I seen him like he was getting down and looking at me and like.
Cinematographer.
So this was a very light night. So I'm just giving you